May profits be upon you. Hope you enjoy your weekend. And I'm good. I'm just glad to see you, man. Let's get right into it. All right. Let's start off with the economic calendar. Got two items that jump out at you. Interest rate decision for the Aussie, interest rate decision for the CAD. Tuesday, Wednesday. Keep these in mind, very importante, because I'm going to avoid the Aussie and the CAD, the Canadian dollar up until that point. Why? Because price moves sideways up until that interest rate decision. All right, on both of these. There are other currencies that are better to trade. So I would avoid these up until Tuesday and Wednesday, and they're going to be very good to trade. Why? Because we're going to have a definite bias, a definite direction, a definite trend to catch. Does that make sense? Of course it does. All right. Also, let's look at the strength meter. All right. You know, this isn't something that determines a trade for me, but it gives me an idea of bias, right? We look at the long term. I'm gonna refresh. All right, we look at the long term. What do I look at that for? You know, you already know if you've been watching my videos. I put the strong against the weak and the weak against the strong. All of these are weak. The top three is strong. When you get when you're getting like 2 and better, you know, and you're -1 and better. You know, I like -2 and better really. But these are weak, and I put these are the ones I'm going to be matching up against. All right, all of them. All right, but I'm going to I'm going to be avoiding CAD and not New Zealand, Aussie. All right, why? Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when I want to get involved with these, and then I will put them against these here, depending on how they come in. If they come in dovish, if they come in the interest rates come in dovish or hawkish, we'll find out. We'll see what the trend, the prevailing trend it will be. Not the prevailing trend, but if there's going to be a change in the trend or a strengthening of it. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get rid of that. And let's look at the Dixie first. Top down from the monthly, right? I love this first thing that jumps out at me. I love this. We have an uptrend, all right? We see price make a high, right? But then we have a break of structure. Boom. What are we expecting of the break of structure? Return to impulse, right? There's your order block. Here's the return to impulse. And then down. I love to see it. But you also have to be aware that it can work the other way too, right? Once we break this structure here, what do? That's a 2-candle pullback. We broke that. That's structure. That is a lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Then we made a higher high over it. That's a break of structure. What are we looking for after a break of structure? Mark this out. Return to impulse. Easy. And we have that reaction, breaking more structure to the upside. What does that mean? What does that mean? I just told you 2 times, man. Were you paying attention? Huh? Don't upset me up in here. Breaking the structure to the upside, we're expecting a return to impulse. I will be marking out that, looking at that one. I'll be looking at this one too, as well. Boom, boom. Now that's going to be some weakness now. That's what that means. But we are bullish. This is a bullish. We're still bullish. Why? Because we've been bullish since the 3rd of May. All right. We're still bullish. But are we making a lower high here? Are we making a lower high here? We failed to break this low, right? So are we making a lower high? And then with intent to break that low. Are the markets, the real question is, are the markets going to go up and the currency go down? We were weakened by that last those employment figures. The currency was weakened. So let's go to the weekly. what do we see? Got that higher low. I always point out this higher low for the last few weeks. All right, we broke this structure to the upside. I'm looking for a return to impulse. That means I got to set up possible places, a ceiling here and a floor. All right, those are going to be my POIs. We reached a ceiling, this supply here at the weekly supply. Where is the floor that price could be returning to? Well, there's a possible floor right here. All right, that's a weekly floor. We can refine that on the lower time frame. And we also have this one. Now, the special note I make about this one is it has not been mitigated yet. Price has not come back mitigated and then moved on or whatever. All right, this one has been mitigated a couple of times. This one, not so much. When you have a fresh zone of demand or supply, price is probably going to have a very nice reaction from it, going the opposite way. All right, let's see. Let's go to the daily. And what do we see? We see a little bit of a transition of price here, don't we? Bullish engulfer. All right, price comes back to test that base candle and takes off from it. All right, we have not been visited again with this imbalance, this inefficient price move. Price will come back and balance off, cover that inefficient price move. There's a bullish engulfer here. You see how price left this demand. So I'm definitely thinking that this is going to act like a magnet to price, bring it down, and we're going to see what the reaction is. This is the one I'm thinking that will qualify to hold and reject price, but it may just do that here. We might have a very, very nice reaction from this demand zone here at right around 94. All right, so we're gonna keep our eye out for these two POIs, this one being first. All right, and we'll see. We'll be looking for something like that. All right, and if it eats through this, then we'll come down here and see what it does here. Got an inefficient price move down here as well. This would be, you know, this would signal something catastrophic, really, for USD. I mean, this would be ridiculous. But maybe it hits here, but we'll look here first, right? So while technically we're bullish in Dixie, we can see some weakness come into. We can see some weakness that came into play after the NFP and the reaction there. So maybe we might see some weakness as the market opens, and right around midway of the week, maybe we might see a lift off. Let me look on the 4-hour really quick. All right. Yeah, you've got to be careful shorting or going long. All right, if you're going to short, because we're right in between the ceiling and a floor. Why is it that color? I don't know. I gave the wrong color again. All right. What I'm looking for, you know, is a break of structure. That's what I need, that break of structure. Okay. We're working our way up, but price just made a bearish engulfer here. All right, inside a taller bearish engulfer. So I don't know. You know, this isn't something that is definitive. What is definitive is if we break this high. All right, then you know price is going to see further gains, no doubt about it. All right, and if price were so inclined to turn bearish, I needed to break this low, these lows. I need to see a break here, and then I can make a plan. Well, price is going to probably watch. Price will continue low, come back up, and then we can take that short because there's there's internal liquidity to take here. All right, but we've been moving bullishly. We had a pullback, a little complex here. And as long as we are supported by this this demand zone, you know, I'd be wary of taking a short into a supply zone. All right. Price did come deep into this thing, so I'm not so sure how long this is going to hold. Really, because when it comes that deep, hey man, it's knocking on the door of penetration. So we'll see. You know, we'll see. You know, don't be jumping too far. Don't jump ahead without confirmations. I like confirmations to take shorts and longs, and I just told you what I would be looking for. Okay, but the picture becomes clearer when you put them up in its pairs. All right, now what pairs? What pairs did I say I was going to look at? Catch this list. Matter of fact, I'm telling you to catch the list. All right, I'm going to go through it really like fire, like fire. This is the top of the list. NZD Swiss. Remember what my what that meter I was using. Remember what was on the high side and what was strong. Let me just help you. These are strong and these are weak. Screenshot it or find the. That's why I made sure that you can see the. What do you call it? The address. All right. So first pair we're going to look at NZD Swiss. NZD Swiss. All right. We're looking at the daily. Are we bearish or are we bullish? What are we looking at? This is a very bearish market. Come on, man. All right. We see this lovely break of structure here to the downside. All right. Don't worry about any of this stuff. Don't worry about any of this stuff. All right. What I'd like to see, because we have what may be a quasi, all right, but again, what I like to see in head and shoulders or quasis, I like to see 1, 2 higher, and then a break of this higher low that made this higher high. Okay, I like to see that. This is what I like to see. I like to see a break that tells me price is definitely going down. Now we have that break. Good. Now, with a break, what are we looking for? You remember, we went over this. That's right. I'm looking for a return to impulse. Where would that impulse be? Is it going to go all the way up here? Now that is a tall order. What I want you to look at is this here. Let me see if I can get rid of all these markings. Oh my gosh. All right. We don't necessarily have a full head and shoulders just yet. Some people may call this the other shoulder. I don't. I want to see a breaker structure first, and this is that break. So I'm going to definitely be looking at this mark here. Why? Because I believe this is a breaker block. All right. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You'll find it. But we rated the highs here. Price crashed through it without even hesitating. So I look when the price starts to pull back. This is where I'll be looking. Right about here. Okay. A breaker block is like a failed order block. It held here and then it fell. Right. Price passed right through it. I'll look at it with this break of structure here. I'm looking for price to. I'm spending too much time. We got a break of structure here. Got a break of structure here. I'd like to see a return to impulse, and maybe this will be our POI right around 6,400. I believe that is. Yes, 66,947. All right, in this area, and I'm hoping that we can see a transition of price. This will be the first place I'm looking. Okay. This order block here might be considered the impulsing order block, because look how strongly the price impulse from there, right? So that's where I'll be looking here first. Looking here first, and then looking here second. I hope we understand. Okay, let's go to the next one. So that's on your list. NZD yen. Okay, we're looking on a weekly right now. Look how strong this is. We broke this structure here, broke this high point. We're returning to impulse. This is the impulsing order block here. All right. I believe we've this can be what do you call it? Refined. All right, but I want to take a good look at that weekly. All right, because the weekly order block is actually this, right? But look how deep price goes into it. That's why I'll look at the lower. I went too far. All right, the lower time frames for refinement. See if we can refine it down to here. This is a three-day order block. Okay. Don't worry about this. I'll explain that. Okay. So we got a 3-day order block here. We see how price respected it, broke structure from here. We crashed past that. All right. And we're down to the impulsing order block that actually started this whole thing. So am I bullish or am I bearish on this price? Well, we had a break of structure here to the downside. So what are, am I going to take a short from here? Of course not, because we'll be shorting right into support here, this demand zone. I don't want to take a short end of that. No way. So let's go down to the daily. That's not a good short to take. You wait for a pullback to an order block or to supply. Now I refined this area down to there, right? This is a daily order block here. So, the larger one, I don't think is necessary anymore. Okay. And what I would look for from here, why did I put bearish? All right, there you go. All right. So I'm going to take this whole down move, okay, and wait for price to reach that POI, and we'll see what happens after that. But we have a close down here, so I'm looking for the pullback. Now, do I think it'll be here? I doubt it. I doubt if this holds because this didn't do much. When you're breaking structure to the downside, then you have some high value of bearish order block, but not so much here. Also, I'll note we have an inefficient price move there, inefficient price move here. I'm looking for price to retrace to some degree. All right. Now, what could that degree be? Where is our point where we can look at price and say, hey, this is the return to impulse? Well, one of the first areas I'll be looking at is over here. All right. Now, this is a tall ask up here. That would mean NZD is kind of bullish, and I don't believe that. I believe it's bearish. I believe this is a very bearish market, and we have a lot of momentum to the downside. But I mark the places that I think price will revisit. All right, and doesn't mean it will revisit that in the next couple of days. No, that's not what I'm saying. All right, you always look at those order blocks and say, hey, this one is unmitigated. Price is definitely probably going to come back here. Let me mark that right. This is an area, because price is so bearish, that I think we might get a revisit from. Now, this is on the daily. We're going to get some kind of reaction when we get here, I'm sure, because this represents supply. Bearish, bullish, bearish. That's a bearish, bullish, bearish pattern, and that represents supply. So I'm going to take a hard look at that and see what I see. All right. Now, whenever you see a well-formed order block like this, you look for price to visit the base candle to retest it, and then come on, man, and then we could revisit that, and then continue downward. All right, I don't want to take no short. I don't want to take a short from here. We have a break of structure. I don't want to take a short from here. I'm waiting for a pullback of some kind. And I'll take the reaction off of this on the lower time frames. This is a daily. All right, on the 15-minute, this is going to look like a transition of price. Let's see. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. All right, I got all these lines up here. All right, so you see how price generated orders, all right? Before it left the area, it swept the top here, generated some more orders, swept that top, left these two liquidity points, left these until the sweep. It's ingenious. It's ingenious. All right, but what do we see on the lower time frames is this: lower low, lower high, lower low, a transition. We break structure here. That looks like a change of the character of this market. It looks like we might be heading up. So what I'll be looking for is price to come back as a return to impulse after breaking the structure here. Ooh, ooh. And we'll see if it breaks here. This is what I want to see. I want to see a convincing break of structure. All right. This one is close to me. Even though this is a 2-candle pullback, this one's kind of close for me. This, considering this is showing a break of structure, I would definitely be thinking if price breaks past that, comes back and visits the head of this inverted head and shoulders, and then takes off. This here, the break past these highs, that is convincing to me. This one's kind of convincing. I'm going to watch it, see if we get a tap and go if price doesn't make it back here. You understand? That's the NZDJPY. And I would be looking to take, I'm only looking at that for a intraday trade to take a buy, right? This is very important. I point this out. A buy for the sell move here. Bam. All right, this is going to be a better buy than a better sell than this is a buy. This is a short term to the longer term, and we'll look for a proper transition here. All right, let's go to the next one. That is NZDUSD. All right, we have a very similar situation, so this will be quick. All right, you can see that we have an imbalance here. We have a break of structures. We're looking for that price to return to impulse. All right. It's very bullish, very bearish, excuse me, very bearish. All right. On the higher time frames, we can see an inefficiency that needs to be filled here. A imbalance price movement, and we're filling that in right now. I can see price turning here at this imbalance. I can see price turning here, coming back to return to impulse after this break of structure, and quite possibly turning down for a shorter term, a longer term short, breaking here. All right, or at least this would be my target at the very least. All right, I wouldn't count on breaking through. I would definitely, because there's a lot of liquidity to get under here for sure. All right, I'm just saying that this would make a nice TP. Okay, if we take a short where it turns around. Now this requires a closer look, because you want to see, you see that we made a bearish engulfer here, but is that strong enough to consider as supply? We'll go to the 4-hour and just take a closer look, and you can see there's been respect of bearish order blocks along the way, the formation of bearish engulfers, and prices respecting that order flow. All right, we have broken, let me get this there. Oh, it's already there. We have broken some short-term lows. All right, would I consider it structure? You know, two candle pullbacks and whatnot, you know, yeah, technically, all right, we got this low, that high point there, and we got a lower high here, and this is, we got two candle pullback there, lower high, and we go at it a little bit lower, and then we have a break of structure. That's what I like to see. All right. However, we break structure to the downside. Ha. So this high becomes tradable in my book, of course, as a change of structure. So I'm looking for price to quite possibly find a reason to come back and return to impulse. We might come back to that imbalance here, all right, that higher time frame imbalance, because frequently I'll see that price will reverse short term off of hitting an imbalance, starting to fill an inefficiency. It could happen right here before we hit this imbalance, all right? But I would like to see a change around here of what do you call a return to impulse after breaking structure to the downside. I would like to see that return to impulse. So, because I believe this is a bearish market, and price will probably continue bearishly. All right, because the USD is stronger than the New Zealand dollar, even though it has been weakened with NFP and all, with the unemployment numbers. I believe that it'll still be stronger than New Zealand dollar. All right, so boom, boom, maybe. Okay, now, let me see. Matter of fact, I should tell you, if it breaks those highs, that the scenario for New Zealand yen, New Zealand Swiss, and New Zealand dollar, if it breaks that high, the short from this area is invalid. We're not going to take a trade without confirmation. If it continues higher, I'll be looking to take a short from up here. All right, because that'll be the better trade. But I won't be changing my bias, even if we have short-term USD weakness. I don't believe that'll last. I don't believe that New Zealand dollar will gain that much strength in the next week. I believe we may get a turn here as it pulls back. I do believe New Zealand dollar will remain weaker than the USD, and USD will pull it down. All right, let's go on to let's see. Let's go to the euro pairs, and let's start off with which one is it? There you go. Euro Swiss. Don't even pay attention to that. Let's go to the weekly real quick. Oh, man, you got to pay attention to it now. All right, let me see if I can. All right, what are we looking at? Ooh, look at that precipitous drop there. Oh my gosh. All right, let me just remove all of this. Okay, so what kind of market are we looking at? We have a lower low after this break, all right, and then we have this pullback. All right, this is a very nice sequence. You see, from this high, lower low, lower high, lower low, we have a nice pullback, a complex pullback. This looks like it was inducement to get people to take shorts. And what did they do? They come back and take them out of their trades by hitting their stops. All right, and then we continue lower. Okay, I like seeing this because you see where all the internal liquidity is, and you know that there's a sweep coming, and you're looking for this pullback. Why and how? It's easily to measure from. Oh man, I got the wrong one. All right, it's easy to measure when you use your fibs. You want anything that pulls back at least 61.8. You're looking at everything above 50% as your discount area. All right, anything below 50% is for retail traders, because this is where they get caught. All right. Oh, it's only going to pull back to the 38. So I'll just take my short from there. Oh no, they came and got my stop loss. No, don't look for anything below 50% when you have a trading range to measure. Okay. All right, so let me get rid of this. So what do we got? What do we have? The last break of structures to the downside. This is a very bearish market. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for nothing but bearishness in Euro Swiss, Euro USD, Euro JPY, because this is the weak matched up against the strong. Okay. After this break of structure, would I like it to come back up here? Sure, I would. This would be the impulsing order block, the return to impulse after a break, right? But this is a very tall ask to have it come all the way back up here. All right, that's, you know, it's very aggressive to the downside. All right, we broke some key levels. You know, what made that high? What made that high? We're looking at a higher low that made that high here. All right, and we broke it. All right, and broke down further. So what I'm going to be looking for is what'll turn price around. All right, and I'm looking at this area, this whole area up here, as the impulsing area for price to come back to. So what I want to do, we want to find our ceiling. We're going to call this our ceiling. Come on, man. We're going to call this our ceiling. Yes, I'll be looking at, I'll definitely be looking at this one primarily, but this is the bullish move before the bearish move. All right, and that's the way you want to see an order block, the bullish and the bearish. This is the balance that the markets love to keep, where there's equal number of bullish and bearish until the breakout. Now we have marked this area as dominant, sell dominant, right? This is a bearish order block. I hope I said that right. Said it to where you understand. Okay, if we go to the higher time frame, you can see this is nothing but a big bearish order block. Okay, and we can refine it up to here. Is it impossible to see price come up this way? Like I said, it's a tall ask. We took the liquidity. It's going to pull back. But where I would be looking is here, because that is the inefficiency. Actually, I'm wrong. On a higher time frame, possibly the 3 month, this becomes an inefficiency. Let me see something here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, price is going to probably come up to this point and turn around. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But I'm going to mark it just because that POI interests me. All right. Look how far we are. This is a very complex descending correction. You know, you would think because it's not impulsive, it's corrective. So these are the areas I'm going to be looking at. As this is a bearish market, maybe we get a pullback to this area. All right, and that's where I'll be looking for a ringy ding from my alerts, and I'll look for the transition of price from bearish momentum to bullish momentum. All right, from bullish, excuse me, I said, I'm sorry, from bullish momentum when it gets here to bearish momentum. All right, that's what this is the area I'll be looking at first. All right, and you see the way this is formed, bearish, bullish, bearish. I like that. I like that. And I'm looking at this section up here as well. Just want to make sure, you know, you have the POIs in mind. All right. If it makes it through here, if it invalidates this order block, I'll be looking further up at these. I do like this one because I like the way price is leaving it. But you want to make sure you pick an order block that has actually accomplished something, like breaking lows. And that's what I'm looking for to the left. Did it break lows? Did it do something significant? It broke this one. This one is strong, but here we are. Let me get rid of this because that's throwing me off. All right. And I'm looking over here to the left. I'm looking at the, you need to find what the floor is. And there it is. All right, we are at a POI on the weekly. All right, and I'm going to be looking for the transition of price from bearish, which it is right now, to bullish for the pullback. You understand? That's what I'm going to be looking for. And I'm going to take that long, whether you're with me or not. All right, I'm going to look for that transition of price here and take it up as it returns to impulse. Got it? Easy enough. That's Euro Swiss, Euro Yen. It's probably a very similar situation. Oh, no, it's not. All right. Look at the weekly. Look at the range that's in. All right. Now I want to get down to it. Where is the last break of structure? The last break of structure is to the downside, obviously. Look at how bearish this is. Okay. I'm looking for the same thing here. Looking for the same thing as its cousin. All right. This is old. This is last week's, and it, doggone boy, I tell you what, not too bad. We broke here. We broke here. Had a lovely transition here. Lovely inverted head and shoulders. You know, these are old markings, and they're actually throwing me off. I'm going to look at price to, as it breaks these lows here, right? We're looking for price to pull back, but it is very bearish, very bearish. All right, we've broken these, some nice lows. We've broken these, so it is time for a pullback. It is high time for a pullback, but you don't want to take a short into you don't want to take a short into demand zone, not at all. So what do we got over here? This looks like a possible point that price wants to turn around. We have to find our floor. That is mucho importante, right? We got something going on down here. Yeah. All right. I like this. Price could come into this and then turn around. All right. I'm looking for an area where price is going to turn around. And I want to take that long as it returns to impulse. I hope you understand that logic. We are in the supply area right here. Let me see something. Let's go up a day. Oops. Let's go up one day. Looking a little more interest in there. Here to here. We're in this supply right now. Now, what I'm going to look for, all right, we have another, this is a daily, I believe. Is that the daily? I believe this is a daily. No, this one is a higher time frame. This one is higher time frame, so I'm going to make it a little darker. Okay. Now, we've formed a bearish engulfer at this supply, and it's not the strongest. It's not the strongest demand. It's not the strongest demand in the world. All right, we did have a little trouble getting started, but once it did, broke its high, came up here. We didn't break any structures or anything like that, so it's not one that I would wholly depend on. So if we get a transition of price here on the lower time frames, if we get evidence that price might be transitioning, you know, and what would give us that evidence? We need a break of structure to the upside, right? You see how price came down, popped up, broke that low, and we haven't broken those highs yet. All right, we made a higher low here. We actually broke this short-term high, but then we came back. All right, we still haven't gone any lower until we got here. All right, we haven't gone any higher. I need to see a break, a true break in the opposite direction. I need to see a change of character. All right, breaking these short-term highs, that's nice, but we made a new low. So this is meaningless to me. I need to see these highs. I need to see this high broke in order to say, hey, we're heading back up. All right, right now I'm getting the opposite. Price is respecting the bearish order flow, and we made a new low. We're still in this demand, and it's still holding, and we had a rejection here. This could happen. That could happen, but I need to be convinced in order to get inside this, to get involved in this market to the upside. Now, as it is bearish, I don't want to take a short into a demand zone. I don't want to take a short into supply. You understand? Oh, man. What is that? What is that about? So I don't want to take a short from here into supply. That'd be crazy. I'll wait for a pullback to take a short from, and it might want to come back here because that's a pretty big, pretty convincing looking supply there. All right, and that's not supply. Okay, bearish. All right, so maybe if price comes back up here, that's fine, but I'm looking for price. I'm looking to take the long for that return to impulse, that short-term bullishness, so I can take advantage of the bearishness. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for transition here or transition here, a pullback and then a drop. Last one in Euro USD. These are the ones I'm looking for in Euro. Okay, we see that price has made it down into this supply. All right, it is a bearish market as well as, you know, just like the others. All right, and we see evidence that price may be transitioning. All right, let's go to the 4 hour so we can see this price action, just like its cousins, the Euro Yen and Euro Swiss. Low, lower high, and then we make this lower low, and we start breaking short-term highs on the way up. I like that. All right, and then we make a higher low. Hey, that's looking pretty good, but this is inducement to get people to take longs to do what? To come back and take them out, take out their shorts. That looks that my spidey sense is tingling on that one. All right, doesn't mean I'm right, just means it looks quite suspicious. Anyway, we made a higher low and we snatched liquidity from this high. It's not a close above that high though. I'd like to see, when I see a break of structure, I want to see a convincing break. But this could work. I'm going to watch it as it descends. If price comes down into this area here, we can see that a little bit more clearly. You can see that price formed a bullish order block here, and that is where we find support. If we see in this sequence here a transition of price where we see a lower low made a break of structure to the upside, breaking this consolidation here, and then a return, then I would be convinced. But I really would like to have seen, or would like to see this high, or these highs be broke first. Maybe it does something like this, then comes back and comes up. I would prefer to see that. This not breaking these highs and then coming back. If we get a touch and go here at this this order block, that'll work. That could work for me. I'll look at how price reacts once it gets to those order blocks. Now, I also want to point out this order block here was refined. This is the order block. This is what would be the head. I would, oh man, I would like to see this go up first, then come back and test this head with a a tap, and a go. That's what I would like to see. Now, if it comes straight down and this holds, this might be a nice long to take. All right. But what are we doing with that long? The bigger picture is this is a bearish market, right? We're going to keep that in mind. This is a bearish market. The long is to take the short up here. Okay. We're going to look here to see if price comes up here, finds the supply, and then comes down, because this is a bearish market. All right, this is a short-term play for a longer-term short. Okay, that's it. Now, again, we're going to wait on the CAD pairs and the Aussie pairs to trade those Tuesday and Wednesday, and maybe I'll drop an update video on those on Wednesday and give some good setups for that. Okay.